This is why you died.
Hello again, everyone, or should I say, yo! What is up, my Scream Queens, Final Boys, Cursed Dolls, and emotionally unavailable vampires? You have just crash-landed into the audio Ouija board known as This Is Why You Died, the pod where horror hits different, the prompts are random, and the vibes are unsettlingly immaculate, demure, and mindful. What? I am Sir Ian Dangerous, and the rest of this unholy trinity of chaos gremlins are RyanRosLIVE and Dan Marcha Madness, a.k.a. your emotionally unstable horror boy band.
What?
And yes, I had ChatGPT write the intro this week, and I just told it to sound young and hip. So, what do you think, Skibbity Toilet Bros?
Emotionally unavailable boy band.
What just happened? What?
We're demure and mindful.
Don't blame me.
For those TikTok boys.
Blame our robot overlords.
Wow.
There's a lot more too.
Incredible.
Yeah, there's quite a bit more. Welcome to the show, everybody. This is Why You Died. We are back here to talk about horror movies, but we're gonna have a little AI interlude at the beginning here because ChatGPT spat out so much freaking nonsense. It actually even gave a description of the show here. It said, here's the tea.
Oh, no.
We don't choose the movies. Nope. That honor goes to our sacred, terrifying, probably cursed bowls of doom.
What?
Yes, they glow.
That actually sounds like you.
It does.
That part did.
We might steal the bowls of doom thing.
Bowls of doom is good.
Yeah, it does. Every week, we pull a wild horror prompt from the void, and the RNG gods serve us a film that matches. Could be an A24 existential trauma spiral, could be Demon Slug High School 3 Prom Night Possession, which I would watch the fuck out of that, by the way. We don't know. We fearfully press play and then descend into cinematic chaos together. We're here to slay, literally, overanalyze horror tropes like our lives depend on it, and make jokes that'll age like milk in the sun. Think Horror Film Club beats cursed TikTok with a splash of trauma bonding and a dash of, did that ghost just gaslight me? So buckle up, grab your emotional support machete, and don't forget to hydrate because it's time to summon the spooks, spin the chaos, and enter the chat. This is Why You Died. Let's get haunted, besties.
Wow, that's not okay. It's not horrible. It's not horrible.
Oh
I will give it to it. There's a lot of excitement in that.
Honestly,
there's a lot of something in that.
I do think we take bowls of doom, but I think you used a word previously, Ian. That I think we should do. I think we should do vessels of doom.
Ooh, vessels.
I think vessels of
Nice.
doom
I
is
like
more
that. I like that.
has more gravitas.
It's less hip, I think, but certainly vessels.
It's more horror.
Vessels of doom. I don't know. Doesn't have the alliteration. Bowls of doom.
Bowls of doom.
Bowl
But
of
that's
doom.
not alliteration. BD.
The buh and the duh.
But
That's not alliteration.
Ba-duh, 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 ba-duh.
That's onomatopoeia.
what is happening? We're just making sounds.
RyanRosLIVE.
We're just making sounds. How is that different from any other episode, Dan? That's all the episodes. We just make
Discernible
sounds.
sounds, not just keyboard
Before
notes.
we get out of the AI portion of this show, however, boys, I need to ask you to check your phones. Check your phones, because one more thing I asked the AI to do. Dan, you too. Check your phone. Go on.
Oh no. Oh no.
Amazing. Oh no. It gave us descriptions.
I asked it to give us catchphrases. Now, please keep in mind, I only told.
Got bit by a werewolf.
Well, no,
What?
hold on.
What?
We're going to go down and talk about them all, Dan.
Okay. Sorry.
Don't
This is
give
fun.
away
I love
the
this.
game.
I love it.
Don't give away the game.
Sorry,
Come
I'll
on
shut
now.
up. I'll
The
shut up.
only prompt I gave it was our names, what the show is, the fact that we draw prompts randomly, and then talk about the movies that inspires us to talk about. And it gave us all
Guys,
this.
I'm dying.
Oh my.
It gave us all that. It came up with all this.
One of these is gold.
I didn't tell it who we were, what we do, none of that. So this is all just AI guessing What the hell is going on here? Ryan, would you like to read the catchphrases and descriptions that AI has given for you?
I'm just going to say one of these catchphrases is absolute gold.
Oh.
But so it said, RyanRosLIVE, the chaos gremlin of the group, TM.
It does seem to like that phrase, chaos gremlin. It does seem to like that.
It says, I'm high energy, a meme machine, and I thrive on cursed cinema and being loud about it. Fair. Some of the catchphrases are hit or miss. I've got, let's get spooky and stupid, babe. I've got, I'm not scared, you're scared, shut up.
Shut up.
I've got jump scare, more like slay scare. I've got why yes, I did manifest this nightmare, which isn't, that one's not bad. I'll give it that one. But the golden boy of this set is that's not trauma, that's lore. And it's got sparkles around lore. And I actually love that one.
That was my favorite too.
That
was great.
That's not trauma,
Oh
that's
my
lore. Oh my
man,
God.
That's good.
Yeah. We're getting you a
This
t-shirt.
is incredible.
That's your t-shirt for the show.
Lore. I do love me some lore. I am a lore whore.
Oh, that's great.
Mr. Dan, what does yours say?
Okay, so mine doesn't fit me at all because just because my handle sounds like March Madness, it just thinks I now love basketball.
Oh no!
So it's like Dan Marcha Madness, the jock who got bit by a werewolf once. Loves horror, sports, and aggressively overanalyzing symbolism in slasher films. That's not.
Oh my God! It
that's
listens
not
to the
terrible.
show. It listens to the show.
That one's close.
That's
There-
pretty close. Catchphrases. If they're
You jock
running,
you.
if they're running, I'm rooting for the monster. That's pretty good. You
pretty
know
good.
what time it is? March of Madness o'clock. I hate that one. I hate that one a lot. I don't
terrible.
like it. I wish I hadn't said it out loud.
the pivot to I hate that
All
actually.
right, here. This is not me at all. Ball is life. Life is pain. Let's watch someone get eaten. That's weird.
I don't. That it's not you, but that one's fantastic.
This is funny. This is really funny. That demon, gaslighting. That ghost, gatekeeping. Hilarious. Playing off.
Honestly,
That's
your
pretty good.
catchphrases sound like the Chris Evans character in or Chris Hemsworth character in Cabin in the Woods.
Oh yeah.
Like
A little bit.
This is all this is.
But the final one, I guess it like yours.
You
like,
need to go give us a 10 on this. Give us an 11 on this one, Dan. You got to go all in this
because
one.
you know what? This is it. This is like just like
This is the one?
This is the golden boy, just like you got. They must save the best
Yeah,
for
yeah,
last. You ready? Let's go straight to hell. It's pretty good.
God.
It's pretty good. Let's go straight to hell. Says,
my
let's go straight to hell. That's good. That's really good. Right?
AI has so far to go before it takes over the world. I swear to God. I'm actually insulted by what it gave me. So apparently,
I can't wait.
really?
apparently, I am Sir Ian Dangerous. Quote, the dramatic goth dad, end
no.
quote, energy.
Huh?
The dramatic.
mean,
So I
can
have
see
dramatic
that.
goth dad energy.
I can
Hold
see
on
that.
though. That's not
Ryan.
I'm just saying
Ryan.
that's not that far off.
You son of a bitch. I am not a father.
It's cool, Dad. It's cool, God.
I have a lovely dog. That's it. Dramatic
got that energy. It's there.
dramatic goth. I can't argue with that. I DJ'd a goth night set last weekend. I can't really argue. And again, I did not give it any other descriptions of us. It says deep voiced, theatrical, probably owns a cape unironically.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yes.
He must. Yes.
I do.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it was when I was in a band, it was a part of a costume, okay? It was not ironic. It was for a good reason. Anyway, my catchphrases are, don't stop looking at me like that. My catchphrases are, if it's not cursed, I don't want it.
That's funny.
I'm gonna throw out here. I think Ian doesn't like his because he feels called out by it. So far, it's just hitting hundos.
My next catchphrase, I came here to brood and scream. and I'm all out of brooding.
What? Okay, I can. Yeah, that's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
Oh my god.
My next one is Slay. I am the final boss.
That's
Oh, God.
Which I don't really.
That one hurt.
I don't.
That
I
one's
don't.
cringy.
No.
terrible.
That's
No.
we can just
Terrible.
leave
No.
that one behind.
Yep.
So
Ain't batting
bad.
1,000. Another day, another haunted mirror, and finally,
No.
this.
Oh no.
I don't.
No.
You can't spell elegant without angst.
What?
But you can
Yes,
though.
you absolutely can.
You absolutely can.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are here to let you know that you are safe. Skynet is not about to take over the world. The Terminators are
Oh
not
my
coming
God.
for you. AI is still stupid. And we're here to talk about horror movies. Welcome to the show. Now that we're done with that nonsense.
Honestly,
my
hold
gosh.
on. I do think what we should do though, I think we should all pick one catchphrase and try and naturally fit it into the episode just
Oh,
for kids.
God.
Oh, I already know mine. You already
just
know.
one. I mean, obviously, I think Dan and I have our winners,
got
but
it.
there's absolutely we got to sneak them in.
Okay. Well, we'll keep track and see if that happens.
I know where
Right.
mine's gonna go.
Oh
well,
my god!
I'm
How
excited.
do you
Oh,
get
God.
to that point?
Now I
guy.
regret instigating all of this. But welcome to the show, everybody. We're here to talk about horror movies. Boys, how have you been since last we talked? What's new? What's going on with you, Mr. Dan? What's new with your life? Tell us what's happening.
Well, I'm still reeling from not being in New York anymore. I really love that city. LA is different, but I have to talk about the most expensive bag of coffee that I bought for myself.
Oh yeah,
And
you went
it
to the
was in New
Starbucks
York.
place,
I
didn't
went to
you?
the Starbucks place. Only
Hold
one
on.
of 6. Okay,
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Hold
go
on.
ahead. Go ahead.
You got drunk at the Starbucks place. Tell
Yes.
me how the hell because you texted me drunk from the Starbucks place, and I was like, "You're at
Wait.
Starbucks."
Yep.
I'm offended. I was left off of this.
No, I think he was responding to a post. You just have to engage.
Was that what it was?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what it
Now
was. Yeah.
now okay. I'm excited.
Because I posted it and I shared what I was having as a story. But basically, this place is
Okay.
there's only one of 6 roasteries in all of the world.
Mhm.
This is one of them. So there's 6 of these Starbucks ones, and so they make these they are roasting the beans there and then creating these very specialty drinks. But they also have a cocktail bar. You can get just regular cocktails, but they have specialty menus that infuse the coffee with the alcohol. So I had to get the roastery old fashioned, which was incredible. It's basically an old fashioned, but it had like this cold brew coffee in it. So it was like it was really smoky. It's really nice, and I really loved
That
it.
sounds
So
miserable.
it's
to
great.
me,
So
but
then
I'm glad you liked it.
it was really good. And so it got me tipsy. I'm feeling good. And then they hit you with a taste tester of this one coffee, which was this bourbon barrel coffee. So basically, they had the coffee infused with bourbon,
Mhm.
and what they did was they mixed it with this simple syrup, and it was like I tasted it, I was like, oh my god, this is the best. And I was like, okay. I walked over to the guy. He's like, yeah, I told you if you try it, you're gonna want to buy it. I was like, all right, give me a bag of that. How much is that bag? He's like, $45. I was like, oh. It's like, oh, okay. Am I about to spend $50 for some coffee? He's like, let's do it. So I did it because I'm stupid. And so
This is why they get you drunk first.
yeah. And so then I bought it, brought it onto the plane. It smells great. It's amazing. I'm smelling it on the plane. Like I open it up, like my wife's in she's like a seat ahead of us. And she's like, is that your coffee? Like as soon as I open my bag, like it's so strong and I'm so excited, and I make it and it's not good.
Oh,
It's just not great. It's not the same. It's like it's
Oh,
not what I
no.
tasted. Like I'm like, there's
You gotta
like
get
this
drunk
weird, I guess, but it's like there's this weird aftertaste, and I'm like, and I bought the simple syrup, and it's just not the same one, and I'm just like so disappointed, and like every cup that's not great is like, well, that's $10, like it's like
Oh,
come
no.
on, it's like
That's
it's
brutal.
like so it's like well, it's like okay, that was like a $6 cup of okay. Like not what I remember coffee, but so that's my story of like experiencing
sounds like
cool
you got to
place.
up your home game.
I do.
with the coffee there.
I do. I
you
got to
know.
figure it out. I think I just got to buy the right one.
You're
but
blaming
anyways.
the expensive coffee.
That's just like
Oh no.
it's the most I've spent on a bag of coffee before.
We're just taking turns calling each other out today.
Like $50.
That's like the most I've spent on coffee in my entire life, like
Right.
across my entire life.
See, and I did
No,
it in
that's a
one
lot.
swoop. No. Yeah.
You see, I just don't drink coffee. You guys have met me. I don't need it. I
That's
share
true.
through
You
space
don't
time
need it.
with
Yeah,
coffee.
That's true. That's true.
That's a
That's-
terrible idea for all involved.
That's your new catchphrase. I don't need coffee.
I don't need coffee.
But what you do need to do is join me and Dan Marcha Madness here in talking about horror movies today, Mr. Ryan Ross Live. But first,
That's true.
what's been going on with you? Dan's been spending money on expensive coffee. What have you been up to? What's new with you?
Honestly, I've been I'm in a weird like place where I've a lot of the stuff that I expected to be working on at the beginning of the year, just because of like work and stuff, has kind of shifted. And so it's been an odd couple months, but I will say I got a very cool note from one of our listeners. So as I've mentioned, we've got members of my my streaming community, and some of our dedicated listeners come from that community. And I have a community member whose name is Jade, who has gotten very into the podcast and has been listening through the early episodes. And she's written out a document where she's just like stream of consciousing her thoughts of like how she's reacting to our takes on the
Wow.
on the episodes. And then she's also rating the movies along with us, which is really cool. But even beyond that, she's such a horror junkie. We have a community Minecraft server where a bunch of different people come in and play and build and whatever. And she's building Camp Crystal Lake in our Minecraft server.
That's cool.
That's sick.
And it's like using both the movies and other media as reference, and she's trying to mimic it as closely as possible. So I know I only just recently saw it, but she's got like this registration cabin and cabin 9 set up, and she's building out like there's like a little campfire meeting, like camp meeting area or something, and she's got the big gate. Super cool.
Wow.
So I just wanted to shout that out.
I have to know, is there a creeper in the lake or whatever the zombie things in Minecraft? What are they called? They're called creepers.
Oh, they're
right?
like drowned, I think they're called. Oh, the creepers are the green ones that explode, but there are like underwater zombies that are called drowned, I think.
Well,
I have played Minecraft all of 0 times. So
Me, same. I have no idea what's going on.
I will fully admit I'm a very casual Minecraft player, but we've got some very, very intense players in the community.
I'm
who
just saying,
make cool stuff.
you need to have a critter in the lake, then it will be perfect.
Correct.
But I love that.
I think there are literally like underwater zombies essentially
Yeah.
that can come try and get you.
Perfect. Then
so-
perfect. Amazing. That's awesome. I love to hear that. And thank you so much for interacting with the show in that way. That's freaking awesome. I love our dedicated listeners. That's rad. That's rad.
For
to
all
hear.
listening, we love when you send us stuff.
Yeah.
We like to talk about it and banter about it. So please, please, please.
Definitely.
Whether it's on socials or just like in a DM or whatever.
Definitely.
We
So
love it.
especially Sephiroth or
Safune.
Safune. Sephiroth and Toshiro Mifune is always how I remember their name. And
What is Toshiro Mifune? I don't know that one. I've offended
I'm going to
him.
come through the screen at you right now. You don't know.
What is that?
Ryan, the greatest Japanese film actor of all time? No? Seven Samurai? Yojimbo?
I got nothing.
No?
I'm sorry.
High and Low?
I guess it's my turn to be called out.
The Samurai Trilogy?
Sorry. I've seen Eat Man.
Oh, God. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be starting a new show. This is why you samurai'd. And we'll be showing Ryan nothing but Toshiro Mifune movies.
This is why you cried.
Wow.
This is why you died. This is why you samurai.
This is how we create a podcast network, by just coming up with other shows on the spot like this. But
This is why you Shanghai.
But in the meantime, we've got to do this show right now that we're here to do. And this week, actually, it is Dan's pick. We're on to this is round 6.
We're back at the beginning.
6.
Round
Wow.
6.
Round 6.
Round
Bite.
6.
Start.
We are moving along. And so, Dan, would you like to tell us what prompt you have drawn from the Bowls of Doom and what movie you have selected as a result?
The prompt was Underground, and the movie is The Descent. And I really wanted to revisit this movie because it is so damn scary, and I wanted Ryan to shit his pants, and I hope he did. Not really, but
Wow.
got scared for a little bit. But
Honestly, I love the fact that you called out that this was such a great double feature with Fall, because there's a shocking amount of parallels.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So actually, before we do the rest of this, here's our spoiler warning. Bam, bam, bam. Spoilers ahead for The Descent. If you're continuing to listen to the show past this point, you have been warned. We are going to be spoiling the crap out of Neil Marshall's The Descent from 2005. And
it's on you.
And you're so angry tonight.
If you proceed, it's on you. We warned
But
you.
if you haven't, go listen to our last episode where we talk about 2022's Fall, which I think you're right, Dan. It makes an incredibly apt double feature with our movie today, which is The Descent. And we're probably going to be talking about The Fall a lot. So spoiler alert for Fall as well at this point. Because again,
go watch it. Go listen to that too.
Watch it. Listen to our episode on it. If you haven't watched it, I can't go all the way to saying it's worth a watch, but it's certainly not worth a watch. I don't know. Go listen to the episode at least. Let's talk about The Descent. It was a big success when it came out in 2005. Definitely shook things up. It was a bleak time for horror. There was not a lot of good horror movies coming out in the late 90s and early 2000s, especially not like this.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it in the theaters. Dan, did you see it in the theaters at all?
No.
Ryan, I know you haven't seen it at all yet, or until now.
Yeah.
No, I actually distinctively remember that I was home. It was college. I was home on a Christmas break. So my parents lived in Colorado at the time. So I was there like on this Christmas break. It's like snowy at night, and I remember we went to the video store. There were still freaking video stores. It was great. Rented this. And I had heard many good things about it, and just felt it brought me back to that feeling of like that 80s kind of like one of these like really kind of classic scary horror movies where I was like alone watching on this small TV, like this movie is shocking. Like what is going on in this movie? And so anytime I rewatch it, it just feels a little bit nostalgic of going back to that time, but also just like it's just a very good, fun, entertaining, good, scary movie. Just a good, all-around good movie.
I agree, but how classic is the question? Because, Ryan, what perception did you have of this? Did you know of this movie before Dan said we should all watch it? What did you know about The Descent?
I knew almost nothing. I had heard the name because I think in passing, Sasha has mentioned this movie of like Sasha, so like every once in a while, especially considering I'm the one that hasn't seen a lot of horror, right? And generally when I tell friends about this podcast or different people here that I haven't seen horror movies, they'll be like, oh, you should watch insert movie here for the podcast at some point. And I usually have no frame of reference for what those movies are. And so I try not to put too much stock into those things because I do try and pick the prompts pretty like blindly and actually just go in with like gut reactions to whatever I draw. But the name had at least a little recognition of like, I've heard people mention this movie, and I think that Sasha's mentioned it more than once. I will say though, that I was a little disappointed because I feel like once I got into the movie, the plot felt super familiar, not because I was familiar with the movie and not because I've seen any movie like this, but because I've played a game that almost directly mimics this plot.
Oh.
And it was very.
And which game is that?
It's called The Forest.
And yes.
It is a survival horror game where you land on an island filled with cannibals that come out of caves, and you have to travel into caves that have naked cannibal people that hunt you down. And it has a very similar vibe to this movie throughout. But I was curious, actually, and one thing I'm very excited to discuss with you guys, like there were a lot of moments during the movie where I saw things that I'm like, that seems familiar. I've seen that either in this game or in another horror movie or whatever, that I was like, either there's a lot of stuff that pulls from this or this has been done prior to this, but I don't have the frame of reference. I'm very curious to kind of get into that discussion as well.
Yeah.
Because it's clear that if this is the original of a lot of these things, this movie had a lot of impact. But it seems that it had so much impact that I went in blind and was familiar once I landed, which kind of lessened my experience, which was strange.
Oh, I'm sad to hear that, but it is interesting to hear that because of this movie, there has been so many ripples after this movie came out that this movie has been so influential that it almost spoils itself.
Correct.
Because this was very original when it came out. There had been spelunking movies, there had been cave horror movies, but I certainly can't recall anything that did it like this, where if you didn't know what this movie about, and all the advertising for this movie was just underground caves, scary. They didn't tell you. They didn't tell you about the critters. They didn't tell you anything other than that. You would have thought walking into this movie that there are people who are spelunking and they get stuck underground and things go wrong, and that's it.
Yeah.
The fact that this movie turns about halfway into a creature feature was never advertised.
Interesting.
I think a couple of trailers might have hinted at it or had something showing the creatures, but it definitely was not like a feature of the advertising for this.
The marketing, yeah.
That included the creatures, because it was kind of a new thing where they switched genres in a way from survival to creature feature halfway through. And the fact that it was shot the way that it was. This is one of the darkest goddamn movies you'll ever see. The fact that he shot almost entirely with the present lights on the set. So either the lights, like the torch that they had, or the headlamps, or the glow sticks. And occasionally you can kind of catch him throwing extra light into the scene, or ambient.
Yeah, a lot of the green scenes were that way.
Yeah, you see some extra green being thrown in there, or like they'll throw in a bit of like, highlighting in just so that you can see what's going on. But it's still such a dark movie. And I remember when I first saw it thinking, this is incredible. I've never seen anything like this.
Interesting.
So,
because I feel like between the two that I really was drawing parallels to throughout were The Forest and Until Dawn. And both of those games, I feel like, clearly draw a lot from this in terms of cave interactions and monsters. And in a weird way, I had familiarized myself with this feeling through other media that was inspired by this movie. And then when I came back around to this movie, I was like, oh, I've seen this done. I've lived in this world before. And so it's very interesting that this was so impactful when it came out.
Now, question, did the claustrophobia get to you at all? Obviously, the creatures didn't work because you've seen that. But what about the claustrophobia? The first half of this movie has some really nasty claustrophobic scenes.
There was a little bit of that, I think, especially in the scene where she gets stuck and she's having the panic attack. There was and the cave starts to collapse. There's definitely some moments like that. I don't think that it was too terribly prevalent. Honestly, this is becoming a trend. But one of the things that was most frightening to me, so to speak, and most bothered me was just the lack of survival skills with this group. Of the one girl who claims to be the most experienced spelunker is sprinting through the cave, and it's I see sunlight, and then falls down a hole.
Hold on. She never said she was the best cave diver. She was the most she was the most adrenaline junkie. She's I love to jump off of buildings and churches. Oh, the priest chased me down the street. Oh, he was so mad.
But she'd also said I've been in way higher level caves than this. And immediately they were talking about the other cave or whatever. But she was I've done caving before. I'm super familiar or whatever.
That's the way of showing that she's laissez-faire. She doesn't have the survival instinct because she's so jaded.
I'm going to throw the PSA out there again. Tell people where the fuck you're going, and don't tell them a different place, for one thing. Definitely don't do that, and don't lie to all of your friends and bring them on a death trip.
Well, that's okay. So now we're getting ahead of ourselves and we're explaining why people died in this, which is, of course, always just a whole lot of dumb. But Dan,
lot of dumb.
So you came back to this movie. You chose this movie. You wanted to come back to it and see it again. What did you think upon repeat viewing? How did it hold up? Now, with Fall, you saw a lot more of the holes or the cracks in it once you saw it again. And seeing this, as you did for this show right after Fall, where we watched Fall in our last episode, then you're seeing this, and a lot of the parallels with some of the story between the two of the main characters, and this cheating with the husband, and women going and doing adventuring things and getting in trouble because of bad decision making.
A lot of infidelity in these movies.
What did you think of this movie as opposed to Fall, and how it held up?
I think it's still completely held up for me. It's just very kind of believable, the way that they are dealing with the grief and the guilt, and the way that things kind of are pieced together and unraveled. It wasn't so spelled out in the Fall. I feel
now, hold on. I'm going to jump in. Now, you said it was how it was dealt with. Is that because of the writing, the cinematography, the acting, just the tone? What made it that way?
I think it was definitely in the direction. The director knew how to treat it, and I think that the writing helped it. I think that the lack of writing, because there was visual cues where the audience had to help put it together too, that there was, there was the obvious look in the beginning between the husband and the best friend. Like there was that obvious look that like that happened, and also in the fall during the climb, but there was still, they didn't really spell it out. They didn't like have that moment of like, yes, this happened, and have to explain it. It was like, oh, I get it. It did happen. This is now this thing between them that she has to now face down in these depths of hell, basically. I think that it definitely held up for me, and I wasn't looking for any holes. I can't think of any plot holes. Maybe you guys will be able to throw some out, but I feel like everything kind of really still stuck. And again, it's like, this is my third time, but again, like you said, I forget that it really turns into a creature feature, like really with only 25 to 30 minutes left to go. Like it's still like this like survival horror thriller, almost coming into an hour into this movie. Like there's still hints of the creature, but it doesn't really go full-fledged like crazy horror movie until like that last 30 minutes. And it's incredible that like you forget that. You leave the movie being like that, those horrific moments of the creatures so imprinted that you remember that in the whole thing, but you're like, wow, no, there's really like character development and these moments of action and survival and like working together that come before it even does that shift that is like still works so well, in my opinion.
And it's funny because it is, on the one hand, I feel like it's a bit of a heavy touch in terms of characterization in this movie. Like you've got 4 women that don't have a ton of characterization, and then you have the 2 main characters, the protagonist, for lack of a better term, and the antagonist, for lack of a better term, because they are somewhat nuanced, but they don't really have a ton of depth beyond what the actresses can kind of give them between the lines.
Honestly, that's something that I think was one of my criticisms, was that until probably 2/3 of the way through the movie, when some of them were killed off, I was having trouble keeping track of which girl was which in different scenarios, of like,
especially in the dark.
Especially in the dark. I still couldn't tell you which one got their hands injured on the rope in the middle during like the scene over the pit. But like, admittedly, like I was able to be like, okay, the one girl's the doctor and it's her sister that are alive. And obviously like the really reckless Scottish girl's the first one to die.
Irish.
But yeah, I feel like, is she Irish? I thought she was Scottish.
I don't know. I thought she was Irish.
Well, they reference Scotland, but then she does say Galway, so who knows?
Yeah, I think she said Galway, so I think she's Irish. I think the main girl is Scottish. I was actually going to joke.
Got it.
I was going to joke the main way to tell them apart is the accents. You've got like the Scandinavian one, you have the American one, you have the Irish one, the Scottish one, and in the dark, the best way to tell them apart is their voices, because it's just basically a flashlight and a. I don't think we should go down that way. And oh, that's the Irish one. Okay.
That's fair. But yeah, that was, I don't know that it's a plot hole necessarily, but it was definitely like a weakness, I think, in terms of, especially until the movie got going. I feel like the movie starts very, very slow and then eventually picks up. But during that slow section towards the beginning, I was starting to be like, I don't feel like I'm invested in any of these people yet. Like they don't really have any characterization or like things to attach to. We know there's this weirdness with the main girl of Sarah, and like, I was just like, I was waiting for something to happen, and then eventually it does, and like it did get there. I unfortunately more prepared for the payoff than I expected to be. But yeah, I wish that the characters felt more, not only more defined, but just more distinct from each other.
It's funny because there is a very delicate balance that you have to have in these ensemble movies, where it's kind of, 10 little Indians or whatever, they get picked off one by one. You want to care about each one, but you don't have a whole lot of time to give them a lot of characterization. And I always think of movies like Dirty Dozen or Predator, where they have to make these characters read very quickly, and you can identify with them very quickly. This movie, unfortunately, I think I agree with you. It loses a little bit in characterization, just because I don't think he wanted to go all the way into making them cartoonish, maybe.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and to your point with movies like Predator or like I think of like Alien, right? Of like you've got all the crew, like they have defined roles that you kind of attach to, of like, oh, that guy's the captain, oh, that guy's the science director or whatever. That kind of helps you be like, oh, they don't need a ton of personality. Now I know where they fit in the puzzle. Whereas this one, it's like they're all a bunch of girlfriends and like they have history, I guess. And like that's kind of it. And then you're like, okay, off to the races.
Yeah, which one is the one who was smoking outside and kind of naughty, and which is the one who had the weird pajamas? And I can't really tell. It's you don't have the kind of the consistency of characterization, and seeing it this time, I could tell who was who. I kind of had an idea of who everyone was, and I saw their through line, but it definitely doesn't read right off the bat the way I think you kind of want it to for someone who comes in cold. And you wanted to be able to read the characters right off the bat, identify them, identify with them, kind of figure out who they are. But it's a delicate balance because you go too far and it makes the movie seem very two-dimensional, very black and white. So that is kind of tough. But I do think that ultimately they did get some good performances out of quite a few of these women, including the two main women who are awesome. I mean, the transformation Shauna McDonald makes between the beginning and the end of this movie, just in the way that her eyes move from the beginning. She's so, jittery because she's recovering from this horrible accident that happens in the first 5 minutes, now hold on. Did that shock you, Ryan, that opening accident, or has it just been done too many times? Because that shit made the entire audience jump out of their seats when I first watched it in 2005.
I'll be honest. I don't know if it was just like a bad cut or something. I don't even know that happened like in the version I watched. Because like I don't know. Literally, for me, the movie kind of started with them like driving into the park and being like, "Oh, she came like last year but left, and like we're gonna go see all these people."
What?
And I don't know. So like they referenced the accident, but it's not until you guys are mentioning that there was an accident at the beginning. I didn't see.
Did the movie start with river rafting?
No.
Oh my god!
What the fuck version did you watch?
I don't know.
Where did you watch
the movie
this?
For me started with.
Oh my gosh!
The movie for me started with them driving into, is it Chattanooga Park or whatever?
Wow.
Yeah, that's how it started.
It cuts out the whole opening sequence. That explains everything. That explains the whole movie.
Well, that probably explains why I didn't grasp it so quick.
Oh my
Maybe
gosh.
I'll have to go look.
Wow.
I didn't. I watched a different beginning, I guess. My bad.
Wow.
Where did you? Okay, well, there are many questions here.
This
Ryan
is interesting.
missed the first 10 minutes of the movie,
scene, apparently,
including one of the great jump scares of the 2000s. Although I gotta say, as far as jump scares go, this movie has quite a few classics, including the night vision one in the camera where she turns around and the critter's just standing there.
Yeah,
and there's a couple of those. The one that gets me every time, and Dan, I think you mentioned it, when they're going through the tight part of the tunnel, no critters yet. We're just going through. She has the panic attack. She can't move, and her friend jumps back in to go. And by the way, that's a good friend. Have you? Aside,
she's the best character in the movie.
Have you boys?
It's Becca or Beth or whatever.
Beth, I think. Beth.
She's the best one.
Beth.
She's the best one.
Have you guys ever been spelunking?
No. Nope.
I've been caving, but not full on spelunking.
Nope.
Okay. So you haven't been down into like the tight tunnels and everything?
Nope.
No.
Okay. I have, and I have done tunnels that tight that they're in right there, and it's not cool. Just to be clear, it's definitely very hard to kind of keep your adrenaline down and keep from having a panic attack.
I couldn't do it. Ooh.
And I've gone,
especially if you get stuck.
I've gone into caves like where you have to just move your shoulders and your hips to move forward. And the thing about that scene that got me was that her friend came back in when she had the panic attack. Her friend came back in, which is essentially backwards, to be face to face with her and talk her down, which means that she would have had to then back out of the cave.
Yeah.
Now,
blind.
Now, she knew that she had friends back there and they could help and et cetera, et cetera. But I've been in a situation in a cave where you can't, because of the way your body moves and the way the cave is shaped, you literally cannot get out backwards. If you once you go in, there is no going back.
Wow.
Because of how your body, you can't turn over, you're stuck being flat and you have to keep going straight. You can't go back. And she dove back in there not knowing necessarily if that was the case, I just immediately tensed up all over because she went in head first and didn't know if she would be able to back out. I'm like, that's a good friend right there.
Wow.
And then when that rock went on the side of the cave when they're talking, it just moved a little bit and they both just stopped. And, it was kind of, I won't say lighthearted, but it was very much like, oh yeah, you'll be fine. Tell me the joke about the lemon. And then that rock moves and they both look at it for a second. They look at each other. All right, go. And the music kicks in. That's the moment of the movie where I jumped up on my couch and was just sweating and rubbing my palms. Come on, go. And I've seen this movie before. That got me. Were there any parts of this movie that got either of you guys? Dan, when you first saw it, or Ryan, when you saw it, were there any parts that got you?
I mean, when I first saw it years ago, any parts with the critter monster things, like the crawlers, those they handled those moments so well. Like it just felt like the best of the Alien franchise, just kind of all kind of munched into one of these like jump scares, and when they see you, and having is the main character Sarah, is that her name? Yeah, when she has to lay still while one of them is on top of her, like those moments were just really like just feel iconic now, I guess.
Was it do you think it was the choice of shots, the editing, the creature design, the sound, all of the above?
I think it's a mixture of all of the above. One, I did make a big note about sound design, and I thought that during that big first initial attack, when they first grab onto them, like when they first are made known and the party all splits up, I thought it was a really brilliant idea to not have any music and any score during that, just the sound effects of the violence. It made it feel so visceral and so realistic, like shit has just hit the fan, like this is fucked, because it made it real. It's like, it wasn't like you were hearing like this like that comes later, but it was just like just you're hearing rip of flesh, you're hearing like rocks being hit. It was just like, it just sounded horrific and it sounded so real, and it was like horrifying. That sound design really helped it.
And the reveal in that same moment where you realize that there's more than one.
Yeah.
Of like suddenly there's two.
Right.
Like that. I do think that was really impactful. Honestly, for me, I feel like the three that kind of like stick out in terms of like powerful moments, other than the rock that we kind of already mentioned, I think that the camera, which we mentioned, great jump scare, really well placed. You're not really expecting it there. Honestly, the reveal of Beth with the axe
so
is
terrible.
A brutal shot. And like really, like to Dan's point, you've got a ton of momentum leading into that moment, and it just feels like it hits a brick wall. And then the last one I think that kind of stuck out to me was when she thinks she's alone in the pool, and she's like about to clamber out. That it felt a little bit of a cheesy jump scare, but it was a good one. It was still powerful. Those were kind of the three that stuck out to
That's
me.
interesting. I don't know if I've ever heard the pool one mentioned, but that is a great moment because you expect her to come flying out of that. She falls into a gigantic pool of disgusting, rancid blood deep underground, and she doesn't come exploding out of it immediately like you would think any of us would, like, ew, gross. She stays under there and very slowly comes up, like Apocalypse Now, like comes up, looks around, comes up slowly, and she's like sneaking away, and then the thing comes out slowly after her, and it is a great moment. And I agree, there's a lot of there's a lot of really well directed moments in this that are just, and they for the time especially, they were very unique. And I still think that there's a lot of moments in this that are unique, even if I think maybe this scenario and maybe how it plays out has been done again and been done a lot, and has been influential, perhaps too much to really let the original movie have the same oomph that it had. I will say this. I mean, it still stuck out to me this time. This movie is brutal.
Yeah.
In its violence. Like it was brutal at the time, and it's still brutal. Like it is Germany. I think they cut 6 minutes out of this for brutality.
Wow.
There's a lot of just really hardcore horror in this movie. And I appreciate it for that because, you know, it's not something that was happening at the time. But boys, I've also got to ask, this movie also gets a lot of credit for being a very feminist movie because it is a all-woman cast. There is one guy in it, and he's in it for all of 30 seconds, less if you watch Ryan's cut. And but it also has gotten flack for not being necessarily an even-handed depiction of women because some of the criticisms have been that the women in it are all fighting each other or, you know, calling each other bitch all the time. They don't really have what you feel are real friendships, arguably except for between like Beth and Sarah. Do you guys feel like this is a good example of feminist horror, or do you feel like this is using it as a crutch or as a trope or as a gimmick?
Honestly, I'll jump on this one first. I think I'm going to preface with, I think we've kind of touched on how odd it is that we watched The Fall and then this movie. And The Fall also is primarily centered on two women. But I do, even though some of the drama and stuff is similar and there's definitely some tension in some of the relationship in The Fall, I feel, and we even railed against some of the characterization of the women in The Fall and like the depth of their character. I feel like their friendship is more realistic than most of the connections in this movie. And I think that like the group scenes at the beginning felt very organic of like them all being like, oh, we're gonna drink and like here, let's take a photo, and like the pajama party and whatever, like that all felt very organic. But then once, to your point, once they get into the caves, it feels like a lot of those relationships either fall apart or just are more shallow than we first kind of took them to be, with a couple exceptions. And so I don't know. I don't really think that this does a whole lot for like feminist representation personally, but also I'm a dude who, what do I know?
Well,
but
we
like,
all are.
you know,
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like, but I don't think that this does a whole lot for that, personally.
See, I'm gonna before I throw it to you here, Dan, I'm gonna jump in and say, as far as representation, up until this point in horror, really, you didn't have a whole lot of all women casts in horror.
Oh, really?
Not really. Off the top of my head, I can't think of any.
The Craft.
I might come back on this. Yeah, but that's horror adjacent. That's more like
Right.
a teen horror,
Right.
right? Like full on hardcore horror. I mean, this, if it wasn't for
Is the Heathers horror? When was that?
Heathers is Christian Slater in it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Oh,
No, he's well.
I just know that it's got women, right? It's
But
high
that's-
school.
but-
They kill people.
but
Something.
so that's kind of what I'm saying is this movie was very unique for its time to have an all woman cast and really not have any male presence in it, and have women fighting for their lives and being badasses and hardcore and tooth and nail, literally tooth and nail in this movie, biting and clawing and anything they can, overpowering these critters. And even if you can pick apart some of the relationships in the movie, I think just as a movie existing, especially the time it came out, but I think it still holds up, existing as a movie where women are allowed to just go underground and have their own adventure and do their own thing and save themselves or not. I think that right there alone
Attempt.
is a statement. What do you think, Dan?
Okay, well, I will say that I think it's not about necessarily women working together, because that's not what's happening. Is I think it's using the female perspective in terms of getting through trauma, and I think it's heavily about
Oh,
dealing with
interesting.
trauma and what trauma comes into a woman's life, and then like how to get through that. But I just had this very weird, interesting idea that I just kind of came to me, and I just want to throw it out to you guys right now and just spoof it out, because I think it's kind of a cool theory. Because you were talking about how all the women, they're not really connected. Like you're not really seeing their connection. They're these just kind of random.
You're not
different
sure why they're
disparate.
friends.
why they're
really.
friends.
Yeah.
So what if this is all about, if it's about trauma, what if it's about Sarah, our main character, facing the different women she's been in her life, and each one of these characters is a different phase of her life. The young careless one, the overprotected mother, the lustful one that just goes after the husband, all these things that she has
the young aspiring one.
She has to let go of all these parts of these women that she was going through this horrific new rebirth, fully fledged, coming out of blood and fire, and she becomes this new woman. She even faces a mother crawler in that scene. She has to kill that scary mother, this old past of her, to get out and past that, letting go of being the mom, because she was this woman, she was this lustful, independent woman that became a mother and then lost all that, and now she has to let all of that go, and that's what all of these women represent. Is
not to mention Dan, Marcha Madness, the Ionic imagery of the cave being the birth canal, if you will, of her new self. I see where you're going, sir.
See, that's just kind of
this is a cool concept. I would never even have considered that, but I
didn't consider it until you guys were piecing it together of like, why are these women even friends? Like, why do they even like each other? And that I was like, yeah, why is that? And it's like, oh, that's true, because if I think about myself as this 40-year-old dad, if I saw myself the 20-year-old that I was, I'd be like, dude, that guy's a douchebag. Like, get away from him. But that's just because I can't connect. That was a different me at that time.
Yeah.
So these are all different versions of her.
Once again on this show, we cannot escape the substance.
Right, exactly.
We can't escape it.
Interesting. Yeah.
We can't escape
and also, I think that the cool thing is that ultimately makes Beth's role kind of the woman that she was before the accident, then, of like, Beth's the one that feels like has it most put together, is the most caring, is the most the glue that holds the group together in a way. And she's not only, if we're following this line of metaphor, the woman that Sarah was pre-trauma and like the culmination of all of these things, but then she's also the one that reveals the trauma to Sarah directly, and says like, hey, here's this thing you need to be aware of and you need to face it down. And don't leave me.
Ryan, I'll go one step further. She's also the woman that Juno kills. The woman that slept with Sarah's husband she kills that version of Sarah, and then Sarah has to actually put her down herself.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Sarah has to personally
really
kill that part of herself. I
can get behind this, actually.
I will bet money that Neil Marshall absolutely did not have that metaphor in mind when he made this movie. But honestly, it works really well.
I think
it works.
I like it a lot.
Like it.
Yeah. I think
that's a great pull, Dan.
It is.
Right.
And but here's the thing. It only works in the American cut of the film, which
very true. I think you're on it.
Which, by the way, become canon because there is a sequel to this movie that is a direct sequel, including starring half the cast of this movie, and it's not very good. I don't recommend anyone watch it because it's
how does it star half the cast?
Exactly,
they all died.
Exactly, Ryan. But
what?
Some of them are not dead somehow. Or there's flashbacks. Anyway, it's not really worth watching. Even Neil Marshall is kind of dissociated, saying the first one has a fine ending. Either ending works with this film. You don't need that film. He actually shot 2 endings for this, not really knowing how he wanted to play it. And in the original UK ending, the British ending, now known as the uncut ending, everything that you see in the American version happens, but as soon as Juno's ghost pops up in the passenger seat of the car after she escapes, all of a sudden, boom, she wakes up again and she realizes she's still underground.
That's the one that I saw.
Oh, that's the ending that I watched. Interesting.
That's saw weird. That one. And she woke up underground and then the birthday candle turns into her torch. You saw the uncut. Where did you see this?
I saw the uncut. I watched it on Plex.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, so that's the one, but I didn't get the crash.
Oh, interesting.
Wow. Well, that's where they cut the extra minute
I need to go back and check. I wonder, because the only thing I can possibly think of is if I loaded it up and somebody had watched it on the account that I'm watching on, if it had been watched previously and I somehow started all the way in, unless it's just straight up not in the version I watched. I don't know this crash you're talking about. And like when Dan was like the glance between the two people, I was like, what? Or whoever said the glance. Like,
Yeah.
I know somebody glanced. I wasn't sure if we were talking about this movie or referencing The Fall again.
Wow.
I don't even know what the husband looks like.
Wow.
And honestly, the only reason I know that it was her daughter is because she says mom.
I wonder what versions.
Does the daughter die in the crash?
I wonder what versions on Plex, because I've seen the unrated version and it still has the crash.
Wow.
But it has that downer ending where she ends up back in the cave. So Ryan, the American version, the canonic version, I guess, technically, it ends with her seeing the ghost and then boom, credits. And so she still gets out, but she's haunted by the ghost of what she's done.
Oh,
right?
weird. So it's just like the jump scare into credits?
Yeah.
Which, now that so that changes a lot of things in my head, because when you told me that there was another ending, I looked up what the UK version was and how it's like they wake up. I didn't realize that Juno ghost was still a part of it no matter what.
Yes.
I thought that Juno ghost thing was added in, like some producer or like studio was like, you gotta add this in at the end because, you know, like The Grudge is great or something. Like
Right.
It just felt so, this makes no sense. Like we've never touched upon ghosts. Why would you put ghosts at the very, very end? Like you just wouldn't be like, we're all genres or something.
Well, I
don't
never
know.
took it as a ghost. It was just like I took it as like it's the guilt
Exactly.
of leaving her behind.
It's a guilt ghost.
Right?
It's a guilt ghost. You know, but again, but look, Dan, you know as well as any horror fan that the last second jump scare, even if it makes absolutely no logical sense, is a tried and true aspect of horror movies.
True.
All the way back to Carrie, Friday the 13th. Let's have someone jump out of the water and pull her into the lake just because I guess Jason's still alive. All right. We don't know if we're having a sequel. We're just going to do it because it's scary, right?
Right.
It's a thing. So I hated it when I first saw it in the theater. I thought it was a shit ending. And then when I heard that they had a British ending that was a downer, I was like, well, that sounds way better. Honestly, upon rewatching it, I think I might prefer the American version, the new version where it ends with her being in the car with her guilt and not back underground, because part of what makes it, I think, better, and I didn't get this before, was the fact that she goes feral down there, realizes that Juno was sleeping with her husband and left her best friend to die under there. And they're all fighting the monsters. And she turns to Juno and is like, gives her like, hey, see what I got? I know you lied to me. I know you killed my friend. I know you banged my husband. Whack, hits her in the leg, leaves her to die and get eaten by the critters. And she escapes up the mountain of bones out the birth canal. The fact she has to live with that to me is actually possibly darker than her hallucinating escaping and still being stuck underground with her trauma about her child.
That's actually, so that's one of the things we had mentioned at the end of the last episode, that there were two endings. I looked into like which ending I saw, and that was something that I saw too, of like, although it seems like people tend to pan the UK ending more, there are kind of a pocket of people who are like, well, the UK ending, although like people said that the good ending or the optimistic ending is her escaping, but honestly, she's going to suffer for the rest of her life. Whereas in the cave, in the UK ending, she's probably just still going to die.
Yeah.
Right.
And like, is there like, which is worse type weirdness?
The note that I wrote for it was that the US version, if you're looking at it in trauma, as like if you're as a trauma story, the US version allows her to overcome it and be reborn and get through the trauma. So it's a lot more hopeful. Whereas the UK version would mean that no matter what happens, you always kind of succumb to the trauma, always gets the best of you. Like you can never recover. So it's super negative, and it's like, there's no hope. And that's where it's like the UK version is just very bleak, too.
Which I typically tend to like, and I think that American audiences are kind of wussy and they can't really take bleak endings, but I think that one is nihilistic to the point of being pointless. Right. And I almost like having to come out and live with, not only her trauma, but knowing that she did it to survive herself, and having to wrestle with that, to me, in some ways, is darker than just blanket nihilism of leaving her underground.
Right.
But let's be honest, guys, that's not trauma. That's lore.
Oh, you got it.
No, you got it in there.
Straight
Son
I got it too.
Oh, man, you just won my Mike Logan Award for this. F that guy. Who gets it for this movie? Who gets the Mike Logan Award?
Absolutely Juno.
Juno,
1,000%
all
Juno.
the way. Oh
What?
yeah,
1,000 million,
Uh-huh.
100%.
Man, I'm
Who
on the
else would it
Juno.
be?
No, I'm usually guts over Griffith, but on this one, I'm taking Juno did nothing wrong. Well, not
What?
nothing wrong. She slept with the
She
husband.
cheated on the husband, and then she hold on, back up. She cheated on the husband. She lied to all of her friends about which cave they were going to the point that some of them made safety plans for the wrong cave.
Yep.
She left behind a guidebook for a cave that they weren't going to, and then she dove face first into a cave system that she had no knowledge of and did not know was safe, endangered all of her friends, only to then kill one of them, abandon them in the dark, and then lie to the original friend to the very end. Well, how are you defending this?
Okay, so she made some questionable decisions.
Oh,
However, she was also, I mean, she didn't handle Beth's death very well. She could have admitted that she did that, but she did her best to try to save everyone after that. And she was absolutely busting some boss energy in that. All right.
I can agree she's a badass.
She
That doesn't
was.
mean that she's not a bad person.
Really, Slay, she was the final boss.
Oh, okay.
He got it.
Okay,
He got
there
it.
it
He
is.
got it. Good job.
Come
That worked.
on.
There it is.
We all
You're
did
not
it.
the only one getting
Good
one in
job.
here, Ross.
Good job. Good job.
Had to work for
Nice.
that one. All right, so this is why you died. We got to figure out why people died in this. We have some very good candidates in this movie. Let's see. Ryan, why did someone die in this movie?
I don't remember the name of the Irish chick.
Oh, geez.
But-
The short-haired one.
Rebecca?
Well, yeah, the one who dies first.
Rebecca?
No.
Holly?
Rebecca's,
Holly.
Holly. Holly. No survival instinct at all. Just sprinting
Running,
through
sprinting.
caves.
Yeah.
Sprinting through caves like she doesn't have a care in the world, not paying any attention, literally falls into a hole because she's paying no attention at all. And it's just like has to prove herself, has to get out, like no holds barred, absolute fool.
But it's established early on that she's a risk taker.
Okay, adrenaline junkie is one thing. Guess what? You're trapped in a cave. There's enough adrenaline for you. How about you don't sprint through it with no light, no guidance to the point that you literally fall face first down a hole? That's not adrenaline junkie. That's dumb.
RyanRosLIVE,
Pretty good.
no sympathy for the Irish. Dan, Marcha Madness, would you tell me why someone died in this movie?
The little sister, the doctor, she should have listened. They were just saying, two people saying, come back. And instead she went, nope, throat ripped out. Bye. That was just a terrible death for her. And she hung up. That was kind of badass though, that her throat was ripped out and she still managed to kill one of the crawlers before,
Yeah.
dramatically hanging to death and bleeding out. But yeah, just listen a little bit.
I mean, it's beyond listen. She was out there doing fist jams into the roof, which, by the way, that is a super advanced rock climbing move. Have you boys ever had to do a fist jam for rock climbing?
I've never been rock climbing. So no.
Well, that answers that.
I've been very, very beginner rock climbing, but I am not nearly dexterous enough for the advanced
I have
the advanced stuff.
I've done some more advanced rock climbing, rappelling, etc. I've done a fist jam twice ever in my life. It hurts so bad. I mean, if you do it right, it doesn't hurt that bad, but I'm not used to it. My hands aren't all beefed up like some of these rock climbers. I know that Rebecca, I guess your older sister, was it Rebecca, was who was out there.
Rebecca was
She was the one that was out there
Yeah.
she did the crossing of the crevasse originally.
Right.
And she was out there just, making all kinds of noises going across that first time. I was feeling that. She was jamming her fists up in those crevasses and hanging her entire body weight off of it. That hurts
Oof.
so
So
bad.
Sam's the younger sister, Rebecca's the older sister.
Okay. Sam was she went out there and was like, well, I'm just going to do the same exact thing as my older sister and jam my fists up in the cracks and they're going to just get tore up, which they did.
Mhm.
That's not listening. That is a whole other level of survival panic. I don't know what to call it. That's
Anyway,
but she went out like a champ.
True. She took somebody down.
Did a very honorable death.
Indeed. Yeah. Yeah.
Although technically it lived until Juno had to kill it
Juno
in
jumped
the water.
Oh,
So-
true.
That was a bit of a plot hole. They dropped the rock down that crevasse and it went down for about 6 seconds.
And then you heard a crack.
A crack. So first of all,
Oh, right.
hold on. Let me push my glasses up here.
It's like a Jurassic Park moment right
6
now.
seconds is about a little under 600 feet of falling.
A long time.
That's a long ass way down. And even if it's water down there,
Oof.
But you don't know how shallow it
It's
is.
gonna hurt.
well, doesn't matter. I mean, if it's 25, 30 feet deep, it's still, unless you hit it straight in, you're going to break bones.
That's true. That's a good
Yeah.
point. She just went,
She was
hit
like,
some
well,
water.
yep, jumping off, and then 2 seconds later hits water. I don't know. Maybe it's a different crevasse. I'll give him credit for that. I'm going to say, Beth, don't run up on someone
That's true. Don't run up on somebody so quietly.
in a dark cave who is swinging around a pickaxe at a bunch of slimy monsters. What are you doing?
It is on her a little bit.
She could have announced herself.
I'm just saying.
That's
Like,
fair.
Juno,
It's
maybe
unfortunate, but fair.
Juno traumatized, didn't handle the situation very well. Critters were coming, left her to die. Okay, not the best decision, but Juno's still my girl. Beth, why are you running up on my girl Juno? What are you
Juno's-
doing? You're taking your life in your hands. She's swinging a
The
pickaxe.
fact
Come on.
that you're defending Juno is wild. Wild. A wild
I'm
thing.
on the Juno train. Spoiler alert,
Gee.
Juno comes back in the second movie. Just saying.
Wow.
She left her to die. She didn't die.
Oh.
Because she's Juno. You can't kill Juno.
She fended off 8 of them by herself with a single axe
That's-
and a broken
That's
leg.
She
because
did.
she's Juno. Boss energy.
Then she got pregnant in a different movie.
All right, let's Skullify this movie. Scully Award time. Let's see, Dan, this was your movie, man, so you're going first. What Scully Award upon repeat viewing? Where are you at with The Descent? What Scully rating do you give to The Descent?
Going 9.
Oh,
High up there.
Wow.
It's a very well
God
crafted movie. I think that like it doesn't spoon feed you all the answers of what happened in the backstory. You have to put some of it together. There's a lot of like undertone meaning to it. A lot of great scares. The fact that it feels like it's a survival thriller up until like this great twist of having these like creatures and them also being so memorable. It's just a very excellent horror movie. It's not perfect, which is why it's not my like perfect 10, but it is definitely up there for me. So I'm giving it a 9.
wow. Full on 9. Mr. RyanRosLIVE, your first time ever watching The Descent, watching a very interesting version of it and being jaded by all of your video game experience that has prepared you for most of the shocks and horror of the movie. What do you give The Descent?
Honestly, so I will put the asterisk on. I'm going to try and go find the opening scene and see if it adjusts anything. Considering it seems like that was important.
A
But
little bit.
Honestly, with the version that I watched, I think I got to go 7.
Ow.
Like I didn't really enjoy it that much. Like it was like there were elements I appreciated about it. I thought that like clearly I could see like, oh, like if this is, like I said, the first time this is done, I see a lot of things that pull from this. I think that this clearly had impact and influence unless this has been done before, which it sounds like it hadn't been. And so like I could see and appreciate those things, but like, I don't know, there wasn't anything really crazy for this movie for me. And it kind of just like went through and I experienced the whole thing. I was like, well, you know, it's intense. It has its scares. I didn't enjoy it a great deal. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad. I just kind of
It was just there
watched
for you.
it.
Wow.
It was just there. I gotta
All
go
right.
7.
All right.
My goodness. 16 episodes in and RyanRosLIVE already jaded to horror movies. This is a surprising development. All right,
If you've played Until Dawn or if you've played The Forest, like they're so spot on with literally the meat of this movie that it's hard to feel like this was novel, which is, I think, just unfortunate.
I'm more mad at the video games now than I am at you, so I can't really argue with you, but myself, I'm gonna give it an 8. To me, it's not like a massive all-time classic. I think it's a very slight movie. Doesn't have a ton going on, but god damn is it well made. It's just Neil Marshall has a spotty record. Some of his movies are really good. I think Centurion is really good. I think obviously this movie is really good. I kind of like, I don't know. I hate his Hellboy. His Hellboy is garbage. I love his episode of Game of Thrones. Doomsday is hit and miss. His output in the last 7 years has been pretty spotty. This is by far. I forgot Dog Soldiers. I love Dog Soldiers. Great werewolf movie. That was when he was really batting 1,000. But I think this might be his piece de resistance. It's really brilliantly directed for what it is. But at the end of the day, it's not a titan for me of horror. It's just a very, very solid, well-made, well-executed, scary as fuck movie. And so it gets a solid 8 from me. Very solid 8 from me. Almost an 8.5. I think if I woke up tomorrow and hadn't just bitched about it for the last hour with you boys, I might give it an 8.5, but it's right in there. I like this movie a lot. But that is our Scully ratings. That means that Dan, you are out of a prompt. You do not have anything going for you, which means you have to reach into the bowl of doom.
My bowl of doom is a scary pumpkin bucket.
The bowl of doom, the scary pumpkin.
And we got
and pick out.
Well, he draws. I'll throw out a fun fact. This is the second movie that we have collectively averaged an 8. The first was The Invitation.
Oh, my.
Well, that's a movie I would say is about an 8 as well. Did I give it an 8?
One of my choices.
We all gave that one an 8.
Hey, there you go.
All right, here we go. I'm choosing one. Choosing one. All right. And it is Foreign.
Foreign. That is wide open.
Wide
Go
open.
Down.
That's a very, you've got a lot of options.
Is it the fear of foreigners?
Very broad category.
Fear of foreigners? Is it a foreigner staying at the wrong hostel? Something
being
like that.
Foreign in a foreign country.
Is it a foreign film?
Is it just a foreign horror film? Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of options.
Goodness.
A lot of ways to go.
So many
I like that one. I like that one a lot.
Well, I'm excited to see what you pick, Mr. Dan Marcha Madness. We will find out in 2 shows, which is about 4 weeks. And next week next episode, we're finding out what Ryan is going to do with his prompt.
Trinket.
With Trinket.
Oh my.
Trinket.
But now it is time to reveal what I'm going to pick for my prompt, because I have the next pick on the next episode of This Is Why You Died. My prompt that I chose was France.
Which, of course, out of everyone, the fact that you got France is hilarious.
I'm so excited.
Unbelievable.
I'm terrified.
I'm so excited. What are you going to pick, man?
And you know what, RyanRosLIVE? You should be terrified because you just no-looked The Descent. You just went, fine.
Oh, no.
I've seen this shit before. I knew.
Am I being punished?
No, you're not. It's not punishment per se, but we knew as soon as I picked France, I was going to go something from the French New Extremity. We knew I was going to do New Extremity horror. We knew it. We knew I was going to. I was going to go from the classic era of it, which is the 2000s. And I have to admit, I was really struggling. I was probably not going to go Irreversible because that's just so hard to watch. Inside is the one that just messes me up the most. I can't watch that movie. It's just, it's so gross to me. High Tension is a lot of fun, but it's also kind of by the numbers and has a weird ending. And I didn't know, was I going to go them? Was I going to go Frontiers? And I didn't decide until this very moment when RyanRosLIVE no-sold The Descent.
Oh, no. It is Retribution.
We are going to have to watch Martyrs.
Oh.
I have to ask before we go forward, Dan, you had a reaction there. I know Ryan hasn't seen it, but Dan, have you seen Martyrs before?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, no. That reaction.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I watched it and I didn't think I'd have to rewatch it. So now I gotta rewatch it.
Oh no!
Oh man, God. Okay.
This show pays dividends. I should warn you, it is one of my favorite, not just horror movies, but movies of all time. So I'm very much looking forward to talking about that. I'm very much looking forward to seeing Dan's reaction on rewatching it. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing what happens to our young initiate RyanRosLIVE over there as we walk him down the dark and dirty path of horror movies. But
well, guys, it's been fun. I've really enjoyed chatting with all of you.
No, in for $1, in for $100. That's the deal on this show.
Was going to come this soon. I honestly didn't think Martyrs was going to come this soon.
I'm surprised it came in the first 20. I really am.
Yeah.
I could have. I mean, as I
Martyrs
said,
and them. Did you say them? I think
them
are the two that you've mentioned in the early episodes. I think.
Yes, and I haven't mentioned a few that I don't think we're ever going to get to, just because they are too far down the rabbit hole. They're too far at the bottom of the iceberg. We're never going to get to like Serbian film, or anything like that.
Let's please no.
That's
no,
that's not happening.
I don't know what you're talking about, but based off of your reaction, I trust you.
No, trust me. That might be too far.
I'll consider this a shield.
I haven't seen it. I just don't want to.
Oh,
I don't want to.
You haven't? Maybe we will watch it.
No,
I don't know.
I don't
want to do it.
I don't want to do it.
Your whole body is squirming.
What I've heard. I don't want to do it. Oh no, I don't do it.
I've seen it twice, and I regret both times.
Twice. Why
well, I had to just make sure after the first time.
Oh,
but that being said,
He's a dark, twisted man, Dan.
It's a dark, twisted world. It's a dark, twisted show.
Twisted goth dad.
Oh,
there it is.
All back there.
There it is. Let's go.
No.
Straight to hell.
Ding, ding, ding.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have talked about The Descent on this episode of the show. Goodness. Thank you for joining us. We had a lot of fun. We had AI, we had women in caves, and we're going to be watching. Let's see, the next show is Martyrs, coming right up for you on the channel. But for RyanRosLIVE, for Dan Marcha Madness, I am Sir Ian Dangerous saying join us right here next time on
This is why you die.